Hi, this is Alan Tribble. I wanted to give you an introduction to my new book, Business Management for Engineers. This is the book I never thought I'd write. I have a doctorate in space physics. I wrote the first textbook in my field of study, and I thought I'd be happy being a rocket scientist my entire career. But as my technical skills grew, I began to appreciate that business skills not only added to my value, they multiplied the value I had in the eyes of my employer. The most respected technical professionals were the ones that could spend a week in a room full of PhDs and then walk into the CEO's office and explain what all of that technical detail meant to the business. But when I looked for some training on the topic, I couldn't find anything written for people like me, technical professionals that wanted to understand the business side of the engineering profession. So I decided to create my own. I enlisted the help of a good friend of mine, Alan Breitbart, who has an MBA in international business. We had some good debates and a lot of fun along the way. Let's take a look at what you'll find inside. In this first chapter, we'll review some of the basic principles of economics, what Adam Smith called the three factors of production: land, labor, and capital. And we'll see how those three are easier to appreciate if we introduce a fourth factor, the entrepreneur. Finally, we will define the concept of a market, a place where goods are exchanged, and we'll see how that has evolved into the modern-day stock market. In the second chapter, The Business of Business, we will explain the importance of the stock market, the ultimate judge of most publicly traded for-profit companies. We'll also look at some accounting basics. We'll explore the difference between financial accounting, which is externally focused and helps create the balance sheet that measures how profitable the company is, and cost accounting, which is internally focused and helps company management understand what each product or service truly costs. We'll then explore pricing, how a company determines what it should charge for each product or service. As we'll see, price is intimately related to value, so we'll finish up with a discussion of value propositions and the specific business model for the products and services brought to market. If you can only remember one thing in the book, remember this figure. This figure shows how the products and services you sell to your customers ultimately generate a profit for the owners. You create income off of the sales you make, and after you pay for the cost of the goods or services you sell and cover all your other expenses, what's left is profit. The key thing to remember is that it's a balancing act. Your customers want cheaper products and services. If the scale tips in their favor, the result is less profit for the owners. The owners, of course, want higher profits. If the scale tips in their favor, the result is an unhappy customer base. The whole trick to running a successful business is to find that balancing point. I remember when I started my career in the aerospace industry, I simply mapped people into two categories: engineers and non-engineers. This third chapter, Navigating the Corporation, will explain what all of those non-engineers do in a large company. We will explain both what they do and why it's important, so that you will know when you need to seek them out for their input. We will also discuss the organizational hierarchy and what changes as you move up the food chain. First and foremost, you need to learn how to tailor your message. When you're an engineer, your boss is probably another engineer and will have a need to understand the technical details of what you're doing. But as you move up in the organization, leadership is more interested in whether you are executing the business plan successfully and less about the technical details of how you're doing it. We'll show you how to tailor your message based on the priorities of the different levels of the organization. Next, we'll look at the rules of the road, the laws and regulations that governments insist that businesses follow. Because most of our work experiences are in the United States and the U.S. economy is the largest in the world, we will be intentionally biased towards U.S. ways of doing business. We will explore the U.S. Federal Acquisition Regulation, or FAR, that guides how the U.S. government conducts business, and we'll see how that influences companies that do a lot of business with the U.S. government. In the chapter on globalization, we will then explore how things change when you choose to work internationally, and help you understand how to navigate the export laws in your own country of origin, as well as the import laws in the country of destination. We'll also make it clear how currency exchange rates and cultural differences complicate the business model when you choose to cross international borders. In the chapter Planning for Success, we will understand how to take an idea from a concept to a finished product that is ready to generate sales. In short, we'll develop an appreciation for what those people in business development and program management really do and why they should get paid if they do it well. We'll make sure to examine this from two perspectives. First, for those people who work for large engineering firms, then for those entrepreneurs who are ready to strike out on their own and try to bring a new product to the market. In the final chapter, Evaluating Success, we will review some of the metrics that are used to measure the business success of products or services, and we'll finish up with a deep dive on how to develop and present a business case for a new idea that will gather support from investors. We've developed some great visualizations, like this one, that will help you see what all the mathematics behind earned value management is all about. And of course, we'll define all of the associated terms like Cost Performance Index, or CPI, and Schedule Performance Index, or SPI. We'll also take a fresh look at some of the standard tools used to help gauge the relative success of different product lines, such as the Boston Consulting Group, or BCG matrix, shown here. If you have a low growth rate and a low market share in the bottom left quadrant, you're a dog. If you have a high growth rate and a high market share in the top right quadrant, you're a star. And yes, because the wonderful people at the Boston Consulting Group were business professionals, not scientists and engineers, they presented their data in a manner that we technical types would find a bit confusing. Rather than contribute to the increasing entropy of the universe, we've corrected that oversight here. Can you see what we've done? You can find more data about the book, the course, and other educational videos at our website, businessmanagementforengineers.com. You can also download a copy of the introduction and color copies of many of the figures. Last but not least, you can order the book from Amazon, Ingram Spark, or your favorite local bookseller. Be sure to check the site for other videos as we plan to upload more in the very near future. Thanks for watching.